So hi, so today we're going to do another pattern making video. So someone actually put a picture of this dress on Pound Fabrics community, and it was obviously a store-bought dress, but they were always wondering if someone had like a pattern or that was similar to it or close to it. Anyway, I like the pattern, so I thought I would try and recreate a pattern to recreate the dress. I will try and insert the picture here. So, is it magically there? If it is, give me a thumbs up, because that's like smartness from my side. If it's not, I'm going to try and flash it in somewhere. So, yes. So, hopefully you've seen what the dress looks like as you're watching the video. The only change I'm going to do, there might be two changes, but one of the changes I'm definitely 100% doing is the buttons. I don't want to put buttons on it, so I'm gonna make it as a zip up, okay? So that's the first change. The second one is the bottom of the arm sleeves. Now, it was like a good 4 or 5 inches of like tight fitting sleeveness. That did not look good, did it? So 5 meters, hell no, inches of sleeve. I don't know how to try and react to the sleeveness. So you get it, okay, but it's tight. So I'm thinking I might just extend the sleeve so it comes to the wrist and do the elastic. So it's still the same sleeve, but without the thin, tight strap on it. I need to stop doing that, don't I? That hand pose. So, first thing that you're going to do is you are going to measure. We're going to start with the waistband, okay? So, what I want you to do is, like, obviously, if you want to recreate it yourself, what you want to do is you want to measure around your waist, okay? So, mine is 85 centimeters, okay? So, once you've done your waist, you also want to measure from like the bottom of your bra strap and then down to like the top of your hip bone, your hips. So I've got mine as 12 centimeters, so that's what I'm working with. And then you also want to do here as well, so probably, you know, in between your bosom, but like in between your boobs, this way, not this way. So from in between your bosom to then around the same mark at the front, you also want to measure it. So I've then got 18 centimeters for this, because obviously you want it to curve under your boob. Okay? So, based on those measurements, we're now going to draw the pattern piece for that section. So this is going to be, you are going to be cutting this pattern on the fold. So what you need to do is you want to work out what your half of what your measurement is from around the back. So half of mine is going to be 42.5. Is that right? 42.5. Right, so we're going to start with, and it's also going to fold at the back, not at the front, because remember we're putting on a zip, okay? So we're going to go 18 centimeters down, okay? So 18 centimeters down. You can't actually see what I'm doing, so I'll redo that. 18 centimeters down, okay? Might actually try and. Okay, so I feel like you can see what we're doing. So this is going to be the centre, okay? And then we're going to go, mine's 42.5, okay? So you're going to get 42.5 on your ruler. get it so it's square. Okay, so 42.5. So can we still see? Yes. So 42.5. So this is the center. This is the center front. So right, center front. Have I spelled center wrong? Is it and this is going to be center back, and we're also going to cut on fold this side. Okay, so then it was 18 centimeters. So that's 18 in it. Yeah, and this is going to be 12 centimeters. So 12 centimeters. And then also at the side, you want to probably mark like the 12 centimeterness, right? You also probably is going to want to measure like, so you want to measure probably how much curve you want here and here. So measure how much curve, so how much, I'm not really explaining this very well, am I? So with your tape measure from the centre to like the centre of your nipple, so that's like roughly 10 centimetres, okay? If you're at like centre, okay? So you're going to go then 10 centimetres in. So 10 centimetres in is here, okay? So this is where you want the curve to be, and then you want this bit to be flat, right? So and then get your curved ruler. Hopefully you've got one, or you could use a protractor maybe. So it slopes rather than it curving, so we're going to slope it down, okay? Okay, so once you've done this, you're going to add your seam allowance onto it, okay? So you don't need a seam allowance on this because that is the centre back, okay? But you're going to add seam allowance to the top and the bottom, then you're going to add seam allowance, and you're going to add extra for the zip, okay? For the centre front or for the buttons, whatever you choose to do, okay? So I'm going to add quite a bit to this side for the zip, just in case, okay? But I'm going to add my normal seam allowance that I do on everywhere else, okay? So we don't want seam allowance there, so we are just going to cut that up, and then we're going to add seam allowance. Light is getting in my way. No, following the wrong line, look at that, see? Retrace this. And then just brought that in. Okay. So that is your first piece. Now we're going to move on to the breasticle area. Okay, so this next piece we're going to be doing obviously the shoulders and around the breasted area. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to measure your shoulder width. You want to measure from your center to the side, so obviously the back piece is separate. We're not going to wrap around that like we've done the waistband. So yeah, measure your shoulders. How wide you want it to be on your shoulder. I'd measure from here to the center of your body, and then you want to measure from your top of your shoulders down to under your bust. So let's see what mine is. Okay, so this is a rough, very rough indeed, measurements. So bottom of my bust is 21.5 centimetres, down the centre, so from the centre of your shoulder down to the bottom of the bust is 34.5 centimetres. So over my bust from the centre of the side around your boobies into the centre is 32.5, and then as you can see my shoulders is going to be 9 centimetres. So based on my measurements, I'm now also going to draw up the next piece of pattern. So okay, so what I'm actually going to start with is the length of it. So the length of it is 34.5 centimetres, okay? So this seems rather big. Okay, so 34.5 centimetres, okay? And then from there, we're going to add the shoulders, so 9 centimetres, okay? So make sure it's 9. Totally missed that 9 centimetre mark there, didn't I? So 9 centimetres, so that's my shoulder, okay? So this is going to be really rough, like arm. So I literally measured from the front of my shoulder, you know, rather than the centre top. So from the front of my shoulder down. So this is where roughly my armhole is going to sit here. 21.5. So shoulder width. Okay, so you've done your shoulder, okay? You've done the centre breasticled over the top, and you've done the bottom breasticled area, okay? So now we're going to add in the armhole. So we've put in, so if I've measured from the front up, so I measured from like the front of my shoulder, so not like in the centre, but from the front of my shoulder, and I like measured down, okay? Like it's literally a straight line down, okay? To which then put me this line in, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach an armhole, okay? So you're going to go to the edge of your shoulder, and then you're going to go to the bottom of this line, and you're just going to do a curve. So basically, get one of these rulers, because you probably struggle to do it otherwise. You've got a ruler like this, yeah? It is easier to do it like that. So we've got our armhole, okay? So then the armhole is then going to attach to the edge of this, right? Right, this is going to gather, okay? This is going to gather. We're going to add some onto this, because that is also going to gather. You then want to also add the line up, and then you're going to V it out. But we're going to probably add a little bit more on this side as well. So what do we put on that side? So I added 7 centimetres on that side. I'm going to add, I just add like 1, 2, 3, 4, just add 5 onto this side. So when you're gathering it in, you want to gather it so it is then 21.5 centimetres. So gather to 21.5 centimetres, okay? So it's going to look quite odd, but again, we're gathering it in to get that poofiness so it fits around the breast properly, okay? So we also want to extend the armhole, but you're also then going to gather it to 9 centimetres, because that's my armhole, so you want to gather it to yours, okay? So I've added, I have like 7 and 5 is 12. I'm not going to add 12 centimetres onto that. If I add 12 centimetres onto the shoulders, right, it's going to be really bunched up, okay? So percentage wise, that is 21.5 plus 12, so like basically 25%, 50% of that, isn't it? It's 50% of that, isn't it? So 5, yeah, and yeah. So basically, whatever your shoulder sleeve is, add another half of it on. So mine is 9 centimetres, so I'm going to add another 4.5 centimetres onto the shoulder, okay? So another 4.5 centimetres onto the shoulder, okay? So, okay, so now we're going to work on the line here. So what you need to do is you want to decide how low or how not low you want it to be. So the lower you want it, so bear in mind this is going to be the centre, okay? So this is the centre, okay? And then what you want to do is decide on whether you want it a low, you want it high, or so you don't want it cut up right on your neck. So it's quite a modest dress, isn't it? Okay, it's very elegant. So I want it to like skim across the top of my boobs. So from here, you want to measure on yourself, measure up to where you want it to start. going in basically. So mine is going to be 9.5 up here, okay? So 9.5. So and then you're literally just going to draw the line to here. Now, you remember you're going to have a zip, okay? So when we're going to add our seam allowance on all of it, because this is we're going to be cutting out 2, so cut out 2, okay? So cut 1, right? Let's cut 2, cut 1, right? So we're just going to now go ahead and add in the seam allowance. Now we've got like 25% of the dress going on. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the arm sleeve. Now I'm using an arm sleeve that I've used before. So this is the arm sleeve that I did for the little black dress. Now if you've got a dress that has tight fitting arms, you can clone that. So if you want to see how to clone clothes, I'll link it in the description for you to be able to clone a sleeve. But I'm also then going to adapt this as well. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start with drawing around the sleeve, okay? So let's shuffle along. Okay. And we're going to literally just draw around it. So this is just a rough, giving us a rough guide. Okay. So there's our right to the top of your shoulder. Okay, so this might be a bit awkward on myself, like. So I'm gonna go with. What am I gonna go with? Hang on. So I'm gonna go with 42. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we want to extend it because it's a puffy baggy sleeve, okay? So we know that this is like a skin tight sleeve, okay? So we could like literally add twice as much onto it. I feel like that's too big. So this is like 14 centimetres in the thingy. So if we add like another 7, another 7 on for like kind of themed going to give more bagginess, but not just that, we also want to make the top, it was like it like hung over, okay? So you also want to be adding some onto this as well. So you want it to, so this tight fitting on the shoulder, okay? So you want it to go up, but you also want it to fold over. So I'm going to extend it by 6 centimetres at the top, okay? So then you're then going to want to still follow the curve. And it's also going to be eased into the shoulder as well, gathered. It's also going to still be gathered into the armhole. So this section here is going to be gathered. Yeah. We might gather a bit more to ease it in. It probably actually will need all gathering. So, gather. Okay, so I've done the sleeve. I had like kids come down and put the film on for them to go to bed. So I've put my seam allowance on the sleeve. The next piece we're gonna do is, okay, so I'm not gonna do a pattern for the skirt section, and the reason why is because so my last video, the skirt, it's basically that, but with a buttons / zip down the front. So I don't need to make a pattern for that. I can just cut that straight out. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. If you want to measure your fabric and cut it out, do twice your waist measurement. So you know to gather it, and literally that's it. Just twice your measurement, gather it at the top, sew it to obviously your waistband. Job's done. Okay, so obviously the cuffs and the back piece. So the back piece, you're going to want to measure from shoulder to shoulder. You're also going to want to measure from, trying not to burp on camera, like from where your shoulders are going to stop to your shoulders where you're going to stop, because then that's going to be neck band at the back. You're also going to want to measure from your middle of your shoulder down to the back of where the waistband is going to sit, and then the back from the centre of the side to the centre of the side, but at the back. Okay, and then we can draw that up. So something that I forgot to add into my pattern for the breastage area was this curve. Okay, so this is, I've cut out the pattern piece for my waist. This is the pattern piece for my waist. Yeah, right. So we need to add this curve onto the breast. So I've measured down. So I've measured down. Can you see that? Hang on. So I've measured it down how far I want it to be, and then we're going to be placing, I don't know in the right place. Yeah, it's lowering now. I sat on my pen. So we're then going to just add this in. Okay. By using the pattern piece that we have, okay? So just a rough guide. And then you're going to obviously add your seam allowance on as well. Okay, so it's going to go here. Okay, so this is the front piece. This is also the front band, and I've also cut the arm out. Where's that? It's not there, it's over here. Look. And the arm. Okay, so I have drawn up the back piece for the dress. So what I've done is I literally got the front of it, traced the shoulder arm and dotted around the arm line. So on the front it's going to come in more, but what you're going to do is you're going to draw in your armhole for the back. You're going to fetch it in a bit. So if you look at my ruler, okay, then you can see I've used like this section for the front of the arm, because that was the front arm line that I traced in. See where it was going to end. And to do the back, I've literally just turned my ruler to a different angle to get the back of it. Okay, so once you've done your shoulder piece, what you want to do is you want to measure between your shoulder to your other shoulder, divide that by 2, mark it, and then add in your neckline. Okay, then what you want to also do is measure down how far you want it to be. Now, I haven't actually measured it, I've just basically drawn a line, guessed, because I can't measure my back properly. I measured around my waist area, divided it by 4 for this line, and then I've just joined the points up. I've also then given it what's it? Sewing seam allowance. Fucking hell, fire. Give it a seam allowance and marked on it, cut on fold, cut 1, and this is my back. Okay, and that is the back piece. So okay, so I am voicing over this bit because I have sped it up, because it is literally just me cutting out the pattern. So while you're watching that, I do again want to just say thank you to everyone that has already subscribed, everyone that interacts with me, everyone that likes, and if you haven't so far, what the hell are you fucking doing? Come on now, like, subscribe, ring that bell, give me some loving. But also back to the actual video. As you can see, the pattern on the fabric, obviously you've got flowers, so it's got literally a bordered flowers around the border, but then it's got flowers down the centre, and then it has obviously some blue rectangled areas as well. So when you are cutting it out, if it is on fabric which is like this, what you need to do is figure out how you want your pattern pieces to sit. So I wanted my waistband to be full florally, so I make that full florally. I'm also like trying to figure out where all the pieces are going to be and how the skirt section of it is going to go. So I do decide to do the sleeves quite plain. So I use up, like, you know, the blue section that's on the fabric, and then when it comes to the skirt, the section of it, the front and the back of the centre like got the floral bands in, and then the sides have got the plain blue banded areas in. So when you are making something, you do need to really consider the pattern on the fabric, especially if it's something like this, or even if it's like a bordered fabric just at the bottom or whatnot. Like, do think about it. Take the extra few minutes to contemplate where it's going to go and how it's going to sit when you're wearing it. Because if you don't and you just like slap it on, because I also could have put a sleeve on and could have put a sleeve right next to it, but then my sleeves would have been odd. So do contemplate the position of your pattern pieces and the fabric and how it's going to look when you're actually wearing it. So I think what I do is I cut this out, and then I think I'm like, okay, now what am I going to do with the rest of it? I don't really feel like I've actually finished contemplating how I want it to go. I do think I do actually move the sleeve again. So, and this fabric was a pain in the ass. You do require lots of pins, especially when you're gathering with this. But it was just really awkward fabric. Like that, the last chiffon fabric that I used was a lot easier to work with. It wasn't as slippy, whereas this is a bit more slippery. So who's still actually homeschooling and who's given up? I haven't given up just yet. I won't give up. Even though it has been a snow day today, and was like, it's snow day! Like, they're like, can we go out? I was like, yes, go out in it, play. So they come back absolutely divering. Heating was on full whack, but it was needed. It was required. It's been a really nice day today because of it. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to like do a basting type of stitch along the bottom and along the top, and then we're going to then pull it in, and we're going to gather, and we're going to do it on both pieces. So this is what it looks like gathered and sewn together, and then the other arm gathered and sewn. Okay, so this is obviously what it looks like again, just showing you both arms done with a bit of gathering. So then what we're going to do is, this is the armhole. We are then going to baste the armhole. We're then going to gather that. This is what it looks like gathered in at the armhole. So it has that little ruched bit. And then what it looks like on the actual garment.
This is how it is looking so far. Okay, I have
done
attached
both
the
sleeves, as you can see.
In
very
front
pretty.
is attached to the
this
back.
Is actually also fabric out of my remnant box. The lining isn't, but the main piece of fabric is
finish the sleeves. So at the beginning, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the cuffs like how they were in there. So we're now going to, if you can see, I have like done a basting stitch, basically a long stitch across the top. So I'm going to pull it all in, gather it, and then this is the skirt section to attach to that top. So I have gathered it all. I did put a pin in the centre of it before I started gathering it, and then took the gathers in from one side and then the gathers in from the other side, purely so when I was gathering it was more equal, rather than like, yeah, you get the picture. So I'm now going to go on and attach this to the main body bit. So with the sleeves, as you can see, I attached a bit of elastic in and did then a zigzag stitch. I inserted the zip, and I also inserted a little hook and eye clasp thing there. I hemmed the top of it, and I also hemmed the bottom of it. And this is what it looks like on. So you can see, for like not even costing me £1, it's really good. So you can see the puffy sleevedness just from gathering it in, how that looks. Show it from the side view a bit better, and then from the back. So you can see I've tried to obviously centre the pattern. Should attach the zip slightly better. I thought it was a sea creature. How do you feel now? That's what happened to me 7 times in a row. Oh, I'm starting to see that dragon.
He's shooting fire just randomly into the ocean for no reason.
So, this is why you should, like, as I was saying before, try and figure out where your pattern is, try and get it the best. So I did try and do that, but as you can see, just look slightly to one side as well.
But, what is that? Don't look at me, don't. I made eye contact with it, I made eye contact with it.
So that is the end of the video. I hope you liked the finished look. Let me know if you're going to attempt to make something from a picture, how you get on, or if you're going to attempt to do this specific one. So thank you for watching to the end, if you managed to watch to the end. I do really appreciate it. I appreciate your comments and all loving that I get from you all. So keep giving it. God, it's really foggy, isn't it? That's got really foggy. Ooh, like, can I see if you can see this? Like, this, can you see? Like, it's really foggy. Like, that sky is just, can you see it more that way? Or am I just showing you how dirty my windows are? Oh, yes, look at the fog. And we're back. So, as I was saying, thank you for tuning in, as if I'm on telly. So, yeah, so thank you. So please subscribe, please comment, please like or dislike, I don't really care, just interact with me, you know. And yeah, thank you. Like, you're making me very happy. So, thank you. And I shall see you next time. Bye.